And we're back. Hey, Joe, let's get into our Sunday preview with our very special guest, Jake Wills. First game, you know how I like to start it, guys. We like to start
The Commanders.
no. They go second. We like to start in Baltimore. Uh, prime matchup should be in prime time. The Buffalo Bills 2-1 coming off their loss to the Dolphins against the Baltimore Ravens, who are 2-1. This game is in Baltimore. The spread currently Bills -3. The over under at 51. As far as injuries go, I will say Justin Houston's probably not playing for Baltimore, who's been their best pass rusher, but they got JPP, the man with not two full hands, but he's got a couple fingers. But he'll be out there. Gabe Davis obviously questionable. I'm gonna go obviously on the Ravens. You're starting everybody. I'm not starting Dobbins. I have him. I won't start him just because. But I think you want everybody in besides that in the offenses.
After one question for you as the Ravens fan, after a down week for Rashad Bateman, do you have any real worry about that? Not that he's like locked into most people's lineups, but are you willing to start him kind of like, is
Yeah,
he a locked in starter? I should say, like, is he getting started if he's on your roster to
yeah,
you?
I would start him. I guess it depends on what your roster looks like. I don't think he's getting started in our league, but that's because Atkins has a lot of good wide receivers.
Yeah.
I'm starting him. I think that watching that game, it was just game flow. The tight ends were just where he was going with all these passes, and he still had 2 for 56, which is not a lot, but he's getting the air yards,
Yeah.
and I think this is going to be a high scoring game. So yes.
And I do agree with you that I think this should be a primetime game. I mean, I wish this was the Monday night game. That would be amazing. Um, but I am going to go Buffalo here. I think just because of the little blunder against Miami that I just like it a little bit more to see that bounce back. So yeah, I'm just going to go on Buffalo.
So I was back and forth on this one a lot, but just because I saw, the Bills versus Miami and the Ravens versus Miami, and I was like, they couldn't pull out the win. So I'm going to take the Ravens because it's points. I'm going to take them +3.
I
Understandable.
love it.
Hmm.
Let's go to Washington. Oh boy, it's rivalry week for the Commanders. For the first time, the Commanders play the Cowboys. See what I did there? They're
Yep.
1-2 Commanders visiting the 2-1 Cowboys. The spread currently has the Commanders +3 on the road, over under 41.5. Obviously, no Dak Prescott. Looks like Michael Gallup will be back. Schultz might be back. And Washington looking fine fantasy wise. I think you're starting everybody. I still think you're kind of hesitant on Jahan Dotson, but the two, McLaurin and Curtis Samuel, are in there. Joe, I'll just ask you one question. Where are you on Wentz this week?
I'm fine putting him in. Actually, Andy has Tua and Carson Wentz, who is my matchup this week, and I'm actually kind of. I mean, I'm not going to speak too soon, but I would have assumed that he was probably going to start Carson Wentz, considering the injury problems that Tua has been having. This week he has been doing limited practices, and yeah, I'm fine with starting Carson Wentz from a fantasy spot. I think I'm just going to get right into the game as well from my side. I'm going to take Washington to get the points, kind of like what Jake Will said. I just want the points in this game, and I don't even mean this in like a homer way about wanting to take the points, but I do know that this team will have these crappy games. Like we just went back-to-back games where we're getting blown out at halftime. And I know that this team will just randomly come back and have a day. And so I just think that that kind of aligns for this week. And I'm going to take the plus points.
I was thinking, I almost pulled an Alex Sims, and then I said, what am I doing? My
Uh,
commies are playing.
he's
I'm
never been
taking the
brought up on this
points.
podcast.
Well, I'm taking the points. That's all I got to say.
Love it.
I'm taking Dallas. Sorry, guys. Next up,
It's all
we
good.
go. Let's go to
You're the
London.
smart man.
Let's go to London, where the New Orleans Saints lose in a home game. They will be the home team. Yeah, the London Saints. That sounds fine. The Minnesota Vikings are 2-1 at the Saints, 1-2. Like I said, this will be very early in the morning, so get up and watch some football. The points right now are going to the Vikings. They are laying 2.5 against the Saints. The Saints looked terrible last week.
Yeah.
Landry, we've talked about the injuries. Landry, Kamara, Jameis, all that. Nothing really big on Minnesota. I have the Vikings -2.5 here.
I'm going to follow your lead and go ahead and concur, considering Jameis is still dealing with some back troubles. I do not think that this Saints offense can really move with a unhealthy Jameis Winston. They haven't shown that they can yet. And obviously, Minnesota, I mean, having Dalvin Cook back fully participating in practice is a great sign. And so I'm going to ride with the more prolific offense, even though that might be a stretch to say, considering they can be on and off. But I'm going to take the Vikings.
Let's make it a clean sweep. I'll take the Vikings. You know, they don't have the points, which I've liked so far, but I think Kirk Cousins is going to ruin my day at 9 a.m. So there we go.
I would love that. Now, let's go to Atlanta. The Cleveland Browns are 2-1. They are at the 1-2 Falcons. Very interesting game. I think this would be a good fantasy game.
Indeed.
Falcons are +1. The Browns just 1-point favorites on the road. Very interesting. I have the Browns here. I think the Browns are a better team. I think they can run the football. Over under 47. Injury wise, like we said, Myles Garrett is really the only one of note. We'll see if he plays. Time will tell, but I am on the Browns here.
Yeah. I really should be, to be honest, the more I look at it. But I'm going to say that Atlanta probably wins this game here is my prediction, considering it is only the +1. I'm just going to go ahead and take the money line there on Atlanta. Jacoby Brissett has kind of gotten it done. And I think that it's time for him to not get it done. That's kind of my breakdown. I think Nick Chubb will probably have a day. Kareem Hunt should get involved as well, like he usually does. Amari Cooper should have no reason to be stopped. And that's why I'm saying that I probably should be on the Browns because of all those great things I just said. But I think Jacoby Brissett kind of botches it a little bit here, and I'm going to take the Falcons.
I'm going to go with the Browns. I just think both these teams are going to run the shit out of the ball. If anything, I want to take the under to 47.
I like it.
It's going to be some 1905 football, no forward passes.
You just wait. We have a 1950s football game coming up later, so you just wait for that.
Oh, there's like 3 of them this week. It's great.
All right, let's go to Detroit. My sweet, sweet Lions. They're hosting the Seattle Seahawks 1-2. Detroit 1-2. The Lions. Hey, twice this year, Joe, they're favorites at home, and they paid off last time against the Commanders. Well, guess what? They're 4-point favorites home against Seattle, and I'm taking the Lions over under at 48. Now, no DeAndre Swift. Probably we're still looking at Amon-Ra. TJ Hawkins is a little banged up. That's okay. Dan Campbell and the boys get it done.
Yeah, all those injuries do scare me a bit, but I'm going to follow your lead once again and ride with your Lions. I just think that they've been a favorite one time in the past 2 seasons, and what they do, they blew the number out of the water. I just think that this Lions team, we always say that they're never going to give up. I know that you've been on them since the start. And I'm just with it here. I don't necessarily fully believe in that Seattle defense is what I'm going to say. And I think I do believe in the Lions offense. So that being the case, I think that it's going to counterbalance with Detroit's defense being able to stop Seattle enough where Seattle's defense will not be able to stop Detroit's offense enough.
You guys took every single point I had. I was going to go with, this their second time being favorites. I'm taking the Lions.
Jake, how about this? I'll give you the lead on this one if you want to take it.
Let's do that.
I'll set it up, but you do the rest. So Chargers at Houston. Houston's 0-2-1. Chargers are 1-2. I will tell you the line is the Texans are +5 at home, and the over/under is 44.5. Jake, take the 4.
Every single part of me wants to take the Chargers, but I just keep thinking back to the same doctor that's treating Justin Herbert and what he did to Tyrod Taylor. And I don't think something's right. I think the Chargers are going to win this game, but I like the Texans +5. I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
Well. I'm going to go ahead and not follow your lead. We're going to do the old switcheroo. I'm a Justin Herbert guy. I'm kind of a Chargers guy. They are my Super Bowl prediction this year. Which I don't love them starting off 1-2. I don't love Justin Herbert nearly dying in the middle of a football game. And I don't love Austin Eckler's yards per carry this year at all. None of those are good things. But
me either.
I am going to ride with the Chargers because I am a bolts up dude. So I'm with the Chargers there. But one more thing, sorry. I do hope that the Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks connection gets better because the targets have been there, but they've not been able to connect. So that is something on the other side of the ball that I hope to see.
Is that like the rainbow connection? The Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks connection?
What does the rainbow connection mean?
It's a song by Kermit the Frog. All right, now I'm on the Texans. They're +5. Let me tell you why. J.C. Jackson is still in or out every week. Keenan Allen's probably not going to play. You have the center and the tackle not there, and Joey Bosa's on IR. Give me the Texans. Next matchup. Sorry, I had to go against you like that, Joe. But the Chargers are in trouble.
It all makes sense.
In trouble. Let's just say that. Let's go to the Colts and the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are in Indianapolis. They are 1-2 against the 1-1 Colts. Right now, the line is the Colts are 3.5 favorites, 3.5-point favorites at home. The over/under 43. Not much to talk about in the old injury department. Joe, why don't you start off?
Sure. I am going to be on the Titans here. I don't necessarily love this. This isn't a game that I love. Just from like NFL wise, there's obviously few big name fantasy pieces that you are going to love starting in this situation, but I don't love picking a side in this game. So I am kind of going to follow what we've mentioned a few times here, and I'm just going to go with the team that's getting the points in the game that I can't really predict a winner. So I'm going to go ahead and take Tennessee.
Joe, I'm right there with you.
Hell yeah.
Let's take the points. I wrote next to it. I think the under is probably going to look pretty good too. And anytime I like an under, which is rare, I like the points.
And I'm also in Tennessee. There's not a lot to talk about this game. You're obviously going to start the two running backs and everyone that should be started. Besides that, don't get cute.
Yeah.
Let's go to the game everybody's looking forward to. The Chicago Bears are 2-1. They are in New York for the 2-1 Giants. This game is straight out of 1954. Justin Fields has completed, I think, 21 passes on the year. Oh boy. I wouldn't start anyone. You're obviously going to start.
I'm starting Barkley and Herbert.
Herbert.
Yep.
Besides that, good God, no. The Giants are 3-point favorites. Over under of 39. 39.
Yummy.
Good Lord. Tempt me. I'm on I don't even know who I'm on. I'm on Chicago +3. Who cares?
Jake Wills, you can go ahead. I'll go last this time.
Sure. I'm going to take the Giants. I think they're just a little bit better at just being a run-only, like run-heavy team. Daniel Jones has wheels. He's just going to be able to break out. And I still like the under.
You're an under guy. This is crazy.
A lot of field goals. Pick up the kickers in that game.
It's the week.
So I'm going to follow again and be on the Giants here. I am looking at ESPN at the moment, and I'm seeing that the winning percentage that ESPN does is 66.6% for the New York Giant football Giants.
Dangerous number, Joe.
That's not good. That's not a good sign. And if I was a smart man, I would say I'm actually on the Bears now, but I'm not. So I'm riding with the G-men. I think what they showed me when they played against the Titans, so how they stuck Derrick Henry and they shut him down, I think that's what the Chicago Bears are going to try to do and run the ball. And I don't think that the Giants are going to let that happen. So I am on the Giants.
From a bad fantasy game to a good one, let's go to Philly. Jacksonville is 2-1. They face off against one of the two teams left unbeaten, the Philadelphia Eagles. I was in Philly earlier this week, Joe.
The Big Apple.
Will say 6.5-point favorites are the Eagles. I'm on Jacksonville here. I know that's crazy, but I think the Jaguars can play a little bit. And, the Eagles, their offense has been good, but if you look at their second half numbers in the last 2 weeks, they've scored 0 points in the last 2 second halves. I don't think that'll continue, but their defense is really good, and I think Jacksonville can hang in. So I will be on Jacksonville.
Cool. I actually have a question. You guys might not know the answer. You might know the answer. Does Darius Slay ever follow into the slot? Because I know Christian Kirk will get involved in the slot a lot, but he's usually following the number one guy. So do you know, obviously if you don't, it's not a big deal, but I was just
I don't think I've ever seen him in the slot. I think he stays on the outside.
I think that sounds about right, because I was also wondering maybe making Christian Kirk a start of or a sit of the week if Darius Slay kind of traveled around with him, because he's just been a lockdown corner for a long time. But I'm on Philly here. I just think Jalen Hurts has just proven himself to the most he possibly can. He's just really quieted any haters on the passing game. They barely ran the ball. I think he only had 20 some rushing yards against Washington this past week, and he threw for over 300 yards. So he's been looking really well in that aspect of the game. And I just think if you go defense, it's kind of like what I thought of. Detroit's defense would be better than Seattle's defense. And I think Philly's defense is going to be better than Jacksonville's defense. So I'm riding with Philly. Sorry for that mumbo jumbo. I don't know what I'm saying sometimes.
Enough of the mumbo jumbo. Jake Wills, who you got?
Well, I want to put it out there. I'm not an under guy. I want the over in this game. But
an under guy.
Oh, you shut it. Let me get I'm never going to get invited back on. Let me get the Jags plus 6.5. I
I
think
love
the
it.
Eagles are going to come out hot in the first half, and the Jags are going to pull like a Lions, and they're just going to cover at the end of the game.
The backdoor cover.
Yes.
I love it. Let's go to Pittsburgh. The Jets are 1-2.
Stinky.
They're visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 1-2. Oh, this could be a rough one offensively. I'm not going to lie. I think Pittsburgh can have a pretty good day. The Jets team was very uninspiring, and they're a miracle away from being 0-3. I'm on Pittsburgh minus 3.5, over and under at 41.5. Minka Fitzpatrick, I think, is out of concussion protocol, so he'll be out there for the Steelers. That's the only thing I have to say.
So I'm looking at the numbers here. Joe Flacco in the first 3 weeks had 155 passing attempts.
Zach Wilson's back. We should have.
I know, and that's what I was just about to say. Are we imagining that Zach Wilson's going to throw the ball 50 times this upcoming Sunday, or what are we thinking? Either one of you can chime in.
Maybe in the high 30s. That's where I would put him at.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he gets to 50. It'd be a crazy game with the Steelers for that to happen.
Yeah, so this is like a big question mark kind of on that side of the ball. So that's why I'm going to ask another question, like Garrett Wilson and nobody else. In the passing game, are we still willing to start Garrett Wilson? Obviously, it's always roster construction, but I'll just say if he was on your team, would you force him into your lineup? Like, would you want him in your lineup, I'll say?
I guess it depends. I like the talent, so I guess you have to take a shot. I guess it depends where your team's at. He's obviously higher ceiling.
Yeah, no.
My first thought was yes, but that's because my wide receivers have been bad all year. I think on an average lineup, he might be my flex play. I don't know. With the new quarterback, I feel like you give him a week.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I'm on the Steelers here. I won't get too much into it. I mean, you're starting Najee, Deontay Johnson, the Muth, and that's about it.
Ooh.
Yep, and I'm with it. Let's Steelers, new quarterback. It's too unpredictable.
Let's go to Carolina. The 1-2 Arizona Cardinals are at the 1-2 Carolina Panthers. The line right now, Panthers are favorite, 1.5. Did you think you would hear that at the beginning of the year?
Shocking.
That's how bad Arizona's looked. Like we said, McCaffrey, we don't know. I think Rondale Moore has a chance to return this week, but we'll keep on it. Greg Dortch is also questionable, but he's been the Dorcher chamber. Let's go. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with Arizona. I think the talent I mean, Kyler's not looked good, but I think the talent outplays them here. You know, I take Kyler over Baker in a big game.
Yeah, this wouldn't surprise me if we were a 3-game sweep here because we're all probably going to be on Arizona, is my guess at least. I'm taking Arizona. This feels like I feel like a sucker for being on Arizona because the line just like makes you look at it, then you second guess like, well, if that's the line, like it's obvious that you want to take Arizona, so you shouldn't, but I'm going to. I just think that the better quarterback will prevail in this game, which is Kyler Murray. And obviously you're starting McCaffrey if he plays. I think DJ Moore is getting benched across the fantasy football community this week. And then James Conner, Hollywood Brown, you can throw a Dortch in there if need be.
Joe, I'm sorry to disappoint.
Dang, I'm surprised. I'm
going to take the Panthers. The bottom warfare 2 beta just came out recently. That's all I got. I for some reason, I feel like this is my one game where I think everyone that is a better is going to take the Cardinals. So it's the Panthers for no reason.
Well, here's another one where a lot of the money's on one team. The New England Patriots are 1-2, and without their quarterback as they head into Green Bay, who is 2-1, 88% is on Green Bay. They are 9.5-point favorites at home, over under 40.5. Boy, I took Green Bay here just because I think either Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon can have a big enough day to make the difference. I just don't foresee New England scoring. I mean, I don't know how they are going to do it. Maybe Ramondre and Damian Harris breaks off a big one, but I don't know. Besides that, I don't know how New England does it.
Brian Hoyer, correct? That's his first name?
That is,
Brian?
He is the guy.
Okay. Yeah, he is the guy. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Packers. I mean, I don't really want to start anybody in the receiving game. If I do, I'm going to say that I want to start Romeo Doubs. I'm going to hop on that hype train. I was on it preseason. I do believe he was one of my rookies that I said that had the like a chance of having an opportunity this year. I think that he can continue to be that number one target guy on this team, especially with these injuries. I mean, that's something that just happens sometimes when a rookie has shined and then injuries happen to that position group that he's in, and he gets his chance. And I mean, when you have 8 targets and you catch all 8 balls from Aaron Rodgers, I think when he's struggling to have that number one guy, I think he like realizes that like, all right, this dude's going to get it done. So I'm willing to start him. Obviously, you're starting Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. And on the flip side, I don't want to start a pass catcher. If we're starting a running back, it's probably Damian Harris, but don't love it. And I'm on the Packers.
And yeah, Joe, I believe you gave Dubs a shout out last show, actually. And when I saw this matchup, I was like, or basically when I've just looked at the Packers season, I thought each week they're just going to get better because Rodgers is going to be able to develop those relationships. And we kind of saw the first side of that. So yeah, I'm on the Packers. It's hard to not be.
Do we think that Rodgers got coffee maybe with Romeo Dobbs? You know how Matt Stafford does that?
I would like that.
Probably
Maybe.
some ayahuasca.
Maybe not coffee. Maybe some
maybe
maybe some nice herbal tea. I don't know.
Mhm.
Let's go to Vegas. Joe's favorite
Vegas,
team.
baby.
Joe's gonna go last here because I'd love to hear him talk about.
Broncos.
I love to hear him talk about how the Broncos ride. The Denver Broncos are 2-1 in Las Vegas. The Raiders are 0-3. Oh my gosh, it's been a terrible start for them. Jake, I'll let you kick it off. The Raiders are 2.5-point favorites.
I'm going to go with the Raiders here. It's just one of those things where I can't see the Broncos being 3-1, and I can't see the Raiders being 0-4. So I got to take the Raiders, and 2.5 is enough I'm comfortable with.
I'm on Denver here. I think Denver wins the game. Over under 40.5. There's something wrong with Vegas. I don't know what's going on. I think Russell Wilson has to have a good game at some. I don't think it's gonna be a great game,
Come
but I
on,
think
baby.
he has a good enough game. I think Javonte Williams, unfortunately, will have a good day, which is I say unfortunately because he's playing me. But I think the Broncos can pull it out. Their defense has been pretty good this year, so that's been holding them in. I'll stay with the Broncos.
Broncos country. Let's ride. So obviously I'm going to be on Denver. I am positivity. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I am in a positive mindset with Russell Wilson. I am done with poo-pooing on him, considering he has given me so many reasons to. I have said in the past that he is a terrible quarterback. I may drop him. I have said that nobody is riding with him. These are all things that have come out of my mouth on this podcast, and I retract all of those statements. Russell Wilson is a top 2, not 2 fantasy quarterback, and I am taking the Broncos.
Hey Joe, real quick. If Russell Wilson comes out and puts a sub 12-point performance together, to quote the great
cry.
Simpsons, is it
I'm gonna
welcome
cry.
to Dumpsville, population you, Russell Wilson?
Yeah, dude. If he does it again, then I'm not going to be joking anymore. But that's not going to happen because we're positive vibes only.
Okay. Well, let's go to Sunday Night Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers welcome in the Kansas City Chiefs. 2-1 in Kansas City, 2-1 Tampa Bay. Tom versus Patty. As of right now, this is even. I don't know when we got this for our little league thing. I think Kansas City was 1-point favorite.
I think it was 1, yes.
But right now it's even all the way. It's a straight pick 'em. 46 point over under. Chris Godwin, I'm not sure if he's going to play. He might. I think it really depends on what the health of the other wide receivers is. Harrison Butker is still questionable. I know Jake's a big kicker guy. Jake, do you have any news on Harrison Butker?
No. I've been looking, and
No.
they said it's going to be a game time decision, and he plays after my other kicker. So I will be rostering 2 kickers for the 3rd week in a row.
Just electric.
Good to hear. That's our inside report from the kicker. I almost made Mike Evans the start of the week. I really like Mike Evans in this matchup. I just have a feeling, I guess I'm on Kansas City. I'm going to be on Kansas City. I think they've just looked better, but I don't know. This one's tough. There's a reason why it's a pick 'em.
Yeah. From a fantasy standpoint, we already kind of know you know the guys that are going to be playing. If Chris Godwin's in, I don't really want to start him. I just think with Mike Evans being there, Russell Gage, who had a good week with other injuries, I don't really want to start Chris Godwin right away. I'd like to see him get one more week before starting him. I'm on Kansas City, though. I just think that Patrick Mahomes is just like the future, and obviously he's the present as well. But I think that Tom Brady has just not looked himself. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not looked themselves, and I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Joe, I believe in the Super Bowl we were on opposite sides here, and I'm not going to get fooled again. Tom's done it to me too many times. I'm going to take the Bucs.
Can't blame you.
That was the Sunday football preview.
Hells, yeah.
We're done. We got nothing else for you. Week 4.
Toodaloo.
Week 4 is here, and guess what? Sorry, Jake. I'm getting a win.
Yes,
I got a
sir.
whole
You know
new
what?
squad.
Yes,
in.
sir.
You know what, Nick?
Um,
I'm rooting for you too.
Thanks.
Oh, the jinx have begun already.
Joe, you want to plug and play?
So, this fantasy football podcast does indeed have a Twitter account. We are at EastSideFF, capital E, capital S, and FF at the end. Follow us on Twitter. We'd really appreciate it. That's where we post the links for the Apple Podcast and the YouTube accounts, which are both at Eastside Fantasy Football. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate all the guys in our league keeping up with this. It's been a blast. Shout out Jake Willis, hooked on a Thielen. Thank you for joining us today, buddy. Love you. And yeah, good luck this weekend. Suck it, Andy.
I love you
And-
too, Joe.
For Joey Briner, myself, Nick Tony, and our special guest, Jake Wells, that was the Eastside Fantasy Football Podcast. Good luck in week 4. I'm getting a win. It's spooky season.
Yes, sir.